delighted to be here today, and I look forward to at least expanding the network to ensure that at the end of the day we have a robust movement in this particular spectrum. Thanks so much.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Paula Musuba. I'm a lecturer at United States International University Africa, USIU. My area of specialization is cybersecurity, and I'm really excited to be part of this launch. And congratulations to the KICTANet team. I'm also here to just send greetings from Dr. Catherine Getao. Just spoke to her a few minutes ago. She's leading a team of consultants who are helping put together the Digital Resilience Center. And so she wishes us our best wishes even as we do the launch. And I'm really excited to just be here and connect with all of you.
Good morning.
My name is Robert Chirenga, and I'm from Uganda. I work with an organization called the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Uganda. But for this particular meeting, I'm representing the East African Protection Hub under a program called the Within Resilience that is being supported by Ford Foundation. Thank you.
Everyone, my name is Ali Hussein. I am the chair of the Kenya ICT Action Network Board of Trustees. Karibuni yote.
Morning everybody. My name is John Olubingo. I sit on the KICTANet Trust. I'm also sitting on the advisory board for Tatua. Thank you. Oh, I'm chairing that board. Yes. Melissa is the vice chair.
Good morning. My name is Mwendo Kibova from KICTANet, and I'm also the secretary for the Tatua Digital Resilience Team.
David, I'm not introducing some other things.
Last but not least, my name is David Ndete. I'm a communications person for KICTANet. If you got to share something outside to the world and the community, the handle that you can mention, Tatua Digital online, Tatua Digital on Facebook, Twitter, you'll be able to get us. And if you have to get traction, Tatua Digital is here.
All right, thank you, David. We also have our colleagues online. I can see they are Boniface Itaba, I can see Chris Ida, Elizabeth Oweri, Emmanuel Mogire, Eric Omondi, Gibson Maina, Jacinta Wataya, Jessica Hong, John Matia, John Munene, Rosemary Koech, Sarah Mondi, Dominic Kodiku, who are also joining us online. This meeting is virtual, so some of our colleagues are appearing virtually. So, karibuni sana yote. Without much further ado, I'd like to invite Chris.
Good morning, everyone. We appreciate the fact that you are here and you honored our invitation. We are particularly grateful to all those people who are joining us online. I see quite a number of people from Tanzania, so thank you so much for this. So my role here is just to give for those who have not engaged with KICTANet. KICTANet in full is the Kenya ICT Action Network. We are a policy and regulatory ICT policy and regulatory multilateral think tank. We bring together different stakeholders in the ICT ecosystem who are interested in ICT policy and regulation. And we work under 4 pillars. One is research, so we conduct research in key emerging ICT issues or issues that have become a concern to the stakeholders, and we synthesize that into policy briefs. The recommendations are then used to take us to our second pillar, which is policy advocacy. And policy advocacy then targets different stakeholders. It might be the government, it might be the industry, businesses, it might be civil society, it might be academia. And that policy advocacy then is conducted through our third pillar, which is engagement. And in that engagement, the engagement is multiple. So, for example, we do thought leadership roundtables, basically to catalyze ICTs, to churn out new ideas in the sector, and to ensure that then stakeholders are coming up with what is practical. Karibu sana Rose from Tatua. And then the other engagement is, town halls. For example, those of you who know, we hold the Kenya Internet Governance Forum, which is an annual event that brings all stakeholders together to actually discuss policy concerns in ICT issues. Then we can also have bilaterals. For example, if we want to target the regulator, we do organize such engagements with the regulator to actually just highlight what the concerns are. And finally, our fourth pillar is capacity building. And in capacity building, we do a lot of digital security, training in digital security, training in cyber hygiene, and then we have an annual school of internet governance that aims to bring new voices into policy-making processes. And that is conducted just before 3 weeks before the Kenya Internet Governance Forum. And that ensures that we have practically new voices in the policy discussions, because sometimes advocacy can be slow, it can take long. So you consistently need people who have energy and freshness to push in some of those discussions. And we are very proud of our Kenya School of Internet Governance, because out of that, apart from the new voices we have in the sector, we can actually see that some of them have actually gone on to work for the big tech. There's some who actually have already moved to San Francisco, and we're very proud of that. So we want to thank you and to also tell you that within that we work under 4 broad thematic areas. One is cyber security and cyber hygiene. The second broad area is privacy and data protection. The third area is access to ICTs for the marginalized communities, and in that we have worked with the regulator to come up with a framework to allow communities to start community networks. And KICTANet is actually working or has actually is supporting a community network in Malawi. It's called a community network. We hope that it's going to be very successful, but that's working with the communities. And then we have one of the programs that we are very happy about, and that is access to ICT for women in all their diversities. And within that, we work with women in politics, we work with the LGBTQ community, we work with young women in universities, mainly to give them digital literacy and digital security training, and even content creation online so that they also start reaping digital dividends. And so we are very happy. And then within all those broad areas, we have a cross-cutting program, and that is access and inclusion of ICTs for PWDs. So we ensure that in every work, in every thematic area, we have issues of PWDs, and we're very proud that this year we've been able to have two persons with disabilities as part of our fellows, and I can say that we are now so conscious of those issues. So about Tatua, I want to say that in 2021, and Linda, thank you very much, Linda from the Ford Foundation, because for believing in us and actually giving us that grant. We conducted a scope study for social justice organizations in East Africa, and this was done in collaboration with CPESA in Uganda and the Tanzania Association of Media Women Tatua, represented there by Rose, CPESA represented by Brian here. And the study identified several challenges. I'll just highlight some of them, maybe a few of them. One of them is that social justice organizations lack a capacity to respond rapidly to digital threats. And what we were doing is sometimes, because of the nature of work that social justice organizations are involved in, work that other people may not want to get into, work that is, sometimes dangerous. They wake up one morning, their websites have been defaced, their emails have been phished, and they sometimes do not have a place where they can respond, and they have to wait for people in the US or in Canada to wake up to help them respond to those challenges. Then we also realized that there is low level of awareness by staff in these social justice organizations on digital threats. People just not even making changes to their passwords, sharing those passwords, simple things that you think people in the digital ecosystem should know. And then, of course, there's lack of cyber hygiene practices in these organizations, and many of them are actually using outdated software. Software needs updating so that it meets with security challenges. And so the question that, guided us is, how can you ensure that social justice organizations that are doing very important work in the region are digitally resilient, that they can protect themselves, because right now everyone has gone online and we can't avoid to be digital. So how do we protect these organizations, those that are doing this very sensitive work? And so Tatua, Tatua then digital resilience comes in to resolve that problem. For those of you who don't know or who are not very good, my Kenyan friends, Swahili, Tatua, means solve. And so this is what has brought us here today. We will learn more. I am, as KICTANet, we are truly grateful to Ford Foundation for partnering, for collaborating, for believing in us, and for the support to not just KICTANet, but to Tatua Digital Resilience, and to members of the Africa Internet Rights Alliance, that's the AIRA, that brings together KICTANet, CPESA, IHUB, CPs, and Article 19, and all those people are currently represented today, because those form the Tatua Digital Resilience Advisory part of the work. They'll be conducting that work in the different countries. So thank you so much to everyone also for honoring us. And at this point, I wish to invite the Tatua Digital Resilience Center, newly elected chair, John Walibeko, soon to be Daktari, but he's refusing to finish his thesis and journal articles, but we have to encourage him now to do that. Sana Walibeko, and asanteni sana.
Thank you, Gigi. As the newly appointed chair of the advisory board. The secretariat gave me some speech to read. I will read part of it and then maybe just give you a personal experience, just to give the whole ideas of life some reality. Some of the things actually Gigi, the convener of KICTANet, has already touched on, but essentially over the past decade, technology and digital platforms have emerged as critical instruments for promoting human rights. Social justice organizations in Africa are increasingly relying on tech and digital platforms for their work. However, they have not fully grasped the extent of their dependency on digital technologies, and neither are they fully aware of the opportunities and risks presented by the digital environment for them. The key challenges faced by social justice organizations in the region include the shrinking civic space. And in some of my personal experiences, I will actually share how I personally felt my civic space shrinking. Restrictive and hostile operating environments, their limited capacity knowledge and awareness of digital resilience. Social justice organizations in Kenya were used to civil society organizations. So when I joined this advisory board, SJO is sort of a new buzzword for me. So it's always a learning experience for everybody. But essentially, civil society groups, social justice organizations, human rights organizations, take on very challenging tasks for the sake of general public. And sometimes they go into that type of work without appreciating the risks of what they are actually doing, or the risks that come with the job. And this is where I give you an example. About 6 years ago, as a techie, I was consulting for one of the political parties on technical issues around the election 2017. And as a professional, you don't feel the risks. I mean, you're just working. And so I continued working for this political party until one weekend, somebody from IEBC disappeared. Most of you know him as Musando. So as one of the tech consultants for the key political parties, we were part of the, I think it was called National Technology Advisory Board. So we used to meet Musando like 3 or 4 times a month, because he was the secretary of that board. And the board was convening all the tech people from all the political parties to try and understand the system, the electoral technical aspect of the system. And so when he disappeared, that's when some of us realized that we're trading in very dangerous business. So I remember raising the issue with my employers then, and at that point they were saying, just something will probably show up. But as we all know, he showed up in a mortuary 3 days later. So some of these activities that civil society group or social justice organizations engaging can be life and death issues. And sometimes you don't realize the gravity of those jobs we're doing, particularly in environments like Kenya where we believe the civic space has expanded. We assume that the freedoms we enjoy are granted until when they're not. So when that happens to Musando, it sends a chilling message to some of us because nobody knew why he had died. Many of us felt that perhaps he died because he knew the system too well. And because we also knew the system too well, we suddenly felt very exposed and had to go technically underground. I remember that is the day I started operating like a fugitive. Threw away my phone, got a Monica Mwizi under some name which is not mine, and was not sleeping in the same house for almost 2 weeks. Because you don't know what will happen. And I give this example because most people working in this sector don't realize how dangerous the work they're doing for public interest is. And Tatua, I believe, has been set up as a fallback position for this these justice organizations, civil societies, that along the line of duty, they may encounter such challenges. We want to be there for them because we believe in what they're doing, and when they encounter problems, whether of technical nature, we should be able to advise them because we believe in the work they're doing, and we want to support them irrespective of how the environment changes. So the civic spaces that we are talking about here are presumed to exist, and I want to give the last example. The freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. In Kenya, we take that for granted. After all, it's inscribed in our constitution. So when we're discussing about challenges to human rights, we tend to think of emerging countries like Sudan or, countries that have obvious challenges of their regime is by design dictatorial. But my second example happened in Kenya around the same time. So after the 2017 election, Kenya moved into, that time they were calling it secession movement. Yeah, some group of Kenyans felt it is time for divorce, and so they were agitating to split. So one of the government intervention to that movement was to declare that all public university lecturers cannot leave the country unless through permission from the Minister of Education. I happen to be a public university lecturer, and I didn't think about that until I got an opportunity to do some training in Lagos. Good money, I was to be paid in dollars. there I was at the airport. I'd gone through, the normal check-in, and I was now at immigration. They told me I can't travel. I said, what? Yes, but then in addition to the document, that I need permission from the Minister of Education to travel. This made me realize that the freedoms we take for granted can be taken away in a short instance. And it looks like something that happens to other people, but it can happen to us as Kenyans. And I give these examples because the Tatua Digital Resilience Center that we're building looks like we're building it for other, struggling, emerging democracies. We could be the first beneficiaries of this thing as Kenyans, because the civil spaces that are enshrined in our constitutions that we want to take for granted can actually be, for lack of a better word, abused depending on whichever regime is in place. And when that happens, we want to make sure that whoever is carrying out human rights activities or social justice or civil society activities, they have a place where they can be educated, where they can be supported, whether in terms of communication. I mean, there are very many ways in which, at the technical level, you can continue communicating as civil society organizations without government surveillance. So those are some of the roles that we hope that this center will support, just to give capacity to those citizens who are, committed to making sure that the civil liberties that we have fought so hard to enshrine in our constitution are actually respected. So I think I want to stop there, and I'll start to invite Jessica. Jessica is online, I believe, and I will hand over the mic to her. Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I just want to see if people can hear me fine in the room. We're okay? We're good? Okay. Yeah? Okay. I'm assuming you can hear me in the room. I don't know. All right. So good morning to everybody. I'm Jessica Horn, the Regional Director for the Ford Foundation in East Africa. I'm actually literally next door to you. My sincere apologies for not being able to be there in person, but my colleague, Linda Ochel, who's also been leading on managing the Leading Resilience Initiative, is in the room. So to just firstly say congratulations. This is a very significant moment and an incredibly important initiative, as the previous speakers have identified. So the Ford Foundation has a pretty robust tech and society program that is looking to invest in strengthening digital justice across the world, and in particular in strengthening global South leadership and engagement with these questions of the digital. And in the global pandemic of COVID, as you know, we had multiple crises. We had health crisis. We had a health crisis that also showed that we had other social crises because COVID and its implications spread along the axes of marginality. And we also had a huge reckoning around the question of racial justice in the United States, but then also in other places where African diaspora people live and where there is endemic racism. And in the face of what really was a global crisis and a global sense of the need to actually really be investing in civil society as the vanguard of agency to ensure that bad things don't get worse, if you want to put it that way, but also to advance the work of supporting justice by ending inequality. The Ford Foundation leveraged and committed a significant amount of additional money to help support initiatives that we felt were critical for this. So the Weaving Resilience program was born out of that need to really think about how do we strengthen the capacities of civil society, not just in programming, which is, as we know, is where most donors fund, but also in the capacity of civil society itself to defend civic space and to defend its potential to continue doing the work, again, of supporting justice in what is evidently a very unequal world. So the Weaving Resilience Initiative was launched with $80 million across the Global South. And in East Africa, we have a number of hubs, of which this, focused on digital resilience, is one. We were very keen to ensure that this was in our area, as we say, we're East Africanists, East Africanists with a Pan-Africanist imagination. So we also wanted to make sure that it is across Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania in terms of its potential and its impact, because we know that the digital is a transnational phenomenon, right? When we think about digital, we can't only think about countries, because actually the digital is transnational space. So Weaving Resilience was launched. It was also launched with a set of ethics, again, born out of the experience that spurred its creation. So there is a concern within how we're working to think about, from the vantage point of where this is a big issue, anti-racism, or from our vantage point, we say also a decolonial way of thinking. So how we think about African agency, African knowledge, African innovation as a core to what we're doing. We're interested in advancing gender justice through this and also disability justice. And the Ford Foundation is very committed, and increasingly so, to thinking about where does disability fit, as well as where does questions of gender fit in our work. Because these are the questions of our time. And we need to ensure that, again, we do a complete work on justice. We can't keep leaving people out and leaving questions out. We have to ensure that we're moving with all of the constituencies, but also the questions of power and inequality that we face in the world. And, as the previous speakers have laid out, our lives really are increasingly lived in the digital. And while there is work, we know there's a digital divide on our continent, there is a lot of work being done to close the access gap. But while that is being done, we're saying, okay, but the digital is created by human beings, which means that it will replicate the power dynamics that human beings create in our analog world, in the digital space, unless we do something about it. We know that the digital space, for people who are marginalized, tends to mean that people are more likely to experience digital harms and less likely to experience digital benefits, because that's also what happens in the offline world. So we're really keen to see, as the digital is a space that is somewhat established but still expanding, how we can do more visionary work to think about creating a digital domain or improving the digital domain so that it doesn't replicate the same axes of marginality and violence and inequality and injustice, right? That it's actually ways of engagement, modes of engagement, and platforms that support, right, all of the basic principles on which our nations are founded in terms of the constitutions, right? The basic principles upon which we all try to live, which is about fairness, equality, justice, access, right? But also security, privacy, and all of the concerns that we have. So we're very keen to see this contribution in the domain of digital governance. We know that states do have a regulatory role when it comes to the digital domain. We also know that one interesting thing about digital is that the ways that we access the digital, the platforms that we use, are actually majority run by private sector, which poses an interesting question when it comes to the question of regulation and how we work in that domain, right? We're very used to working with the state, and we have all the mechanisms in place and a lot of law. When it comes to the private sector, it's harder. And often the private sector that manages our digital is transnational, is under jurisdictions that are not ours, etc. So it's a challenge, but again, it's a creative challenge. And KICTANet and the other partners of the African Internet Rights Alliance have been doing phenomenal work in this domain. And again, the idea is to keep continuing this so that we build a vision of digital governance which really does support security, privacy, equity, right? Freedom from violence, non-discrimination, all of the things that we know are essential if we're going to have healthy societies. We also, as previous speakers have been noting, need to work at the user level because many of us are not digital natives, as they call it, so we weren't born into the digital era, right? We weren't born with phones in our hands, and some privileged children are, right? We weren't born coding, okay? And so we're also getting our familiarity strengthened in terms of using these spaces. It's also a resource question because although there is actually a lot of free and open source technology around, right? A lot of free and open. There's some very interesting work happening at the moment. The High Court in Kenya is engaging in a very interesting case, right, around social media companies and the way that they outsource labor in relatively precarious conditions, right, to East Africans. All of these questions are interesting, but again, we're setting precedents, right? Even the questions we're asking are setting precedents, okay? We have been, again, Kenya in particular had been an innovator in open source tech, right? Which is a crucial pillar, actually, of what would look like a digital justice ecosystem. How do we keep engaging with thinking about that and continuing to build relationships for those of us who come from kind of the more mainstream or traditional human rights and social justice sectors to ensure that we are staying in conversation with the techies, right? And we're sharing ideas and innovating together to think about how East Africa continues to lead and become an even stronger leader when it comes to questions of social justice in the digital domain and to building digital resilience. So just to say a huge congratulations to KICTANet and to all of your partners. We're very excited for this. We're very excited to see it bloom and to grow and to support you as you do it. And I, hope that the deliberations today and the conversation spark ideas again about, how we can make this happen, how we can continue to join forces, how we can bring all of our different insights and innovations and thinking to the table in order to advance this agenda and to see this Tatua Center really, like I said, solidify, bloom, and grow and expand as it needs to. So thank you to everybody and enjoy the day.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jessica. That was my thesis. I think we can end this event now. Thank you very much for those remarks. We really appreciate the support from the foundation and all the partners who are present in the room. So asante sana. I know you have to jump into another meeting, but we really appreciate you taking the time to make the remarks. I noticed that there are a couple of our colleagues who have also joined. So maybe you can leave and just introduce yourself. I'll have the mic around.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rose Ruben from Tanzania Media Women's Association, one of the partners in the scoping of this Tatua study. Thank you so much. My pleasure to be here.
Good morning, everyone. I was hoping Victor would not give me the mic. Cecilia Modu, I'm a Keto Security Trainer and a journalist. I'm from Iowa International Association of Women in Radio and Television.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Josephine Kalani. I'm the chairperson of the International Association of Women in Radio and Television. I'm happy to be here this morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jeru Mena from Youth Agenda. I'm happy to be here.
Good morning. I'm Tetas Okech from Vision Channels Kenya.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Benita Kiro. I'm a technology and innovation reporter with the Star newspaper, Radio Africa Group.
Morning, everyone. I'm Stanley Murade, IT manager with the Samantha Pride. I'm happy to be here.
Morning, everyone. Salome Lucha with the Women Human Rights Defenders Hub. I'm happy to be here.
Good morning. My name is Muthui Kature, Article 19.
Thank you, everyone, for the introduction. I'd like now to invite Ali Hussein, Chair.
Closer.
That's silly. These are the issues we are dealing with. So, it's a real pleasure to be here today. I really don't have much else to say because I think my colleagues have really talked quite a bit about it, and Jessica sort of crowned it all. Maybe for me, it's just to expound a little bit on what Tatua is and some of the services and tools that we will be offering going forward. So, the Tatua Digital Resilience Center will assist social justice organizations in Eastern Africa and hopefully later on across the continent in adopting and surviving in a changing environment by implementing effective digital strategies. The center provides support to social justice organizations throughout the region that work towards advancing digital rights. The center's objectives include enhancing governance, accountability, leadership, culture, situational awareness, innovation, adaptive capacity, research, and risk management. The center is also inclusive and draws expertise from the continent. An advisory board consists of members from the African Internet Rights Alliance in Eastern Africa, overseeing the center strategy. Its guiding principles are transparency, accountability, integrity, and good governance. So some of the service offerings of the center include: 1, capacity building and leadership on digital resilience, risks and opportunities, development of digital resilience policies, procedures, manuals and strategies, assessment and incident response, conducting digital resilience assessments, risk assessments and audits. By the way, this digital and incident response issue is a big one. And most industries, so I use both. I see. I have become a politician. I'm losing too much. So some of the tools that the center will have include a portal with policies, procedure manuals, and training manuals for all weaving resilience hubs in Eastern Africa, a digital resilience assessment tool and scorecard, VPN services, open source messaging like Signal, secure and sustainable web hosting, secure images, and secure storage. I think, guys, we cannot belabor the point of what this center will be doing. Digital transformation has become a way of life. And even those who are extremely well conversant with digital technologies find themselves on the wrong side of fraudsters. You'll be surprised. You know, as a personal experience, a couple of months ago, a lady called me, claiming she's calling from Safaricom call center. And I was almost a statistic of SIM card swap. Almost. And just for the foresight of looking at that number and remembering that Safaricom reminds us every time there's only one number they will call you from when it's from customer service. But let me tell you, this lady was smooth, slick, using social engineering tactics. I almost fell victim. And even when I discovered that she's not the one, she kept on insisting. But let me tell you something that they also do, that we all have to be somewhat careful about. She sent me an SMS. She actually told me, look, if you don't believe me, hang up. I'll send you an SMS from Safaricom, read it, and then call me back. That's how bold they are. And I hung up, and sure enough, there was an SMS that came in, mass, as a Safaricom SMS. You know, if I can fall victim, anybody else can fall victim. So I almost fell victim. So some of these initiatives that we do at KICTANet are extremely, extremely important. And hopefully in the next couple of years, we'll expand this beyond the social justice organizations to other industries, because every industry actually requires this. Thank you very much. Before I close off, I just want to really thank the team that worked diligently on this. Funds the Midnight Oil, driven by pure passion. More often than not at KICTANet, we say actually we eat passion. So, to my brother Kivuva, Vice Kivuva, Bwana Kivuva, the coordinator for the center, Kiswahili tunasema kongole. To my sister, Grace Gidaiga, and her team at the Secretariat, Kiswahili tunasema hongera. You hear the difference, eh? Kongole is for men. Hongera is for women. Yeah. Tuko pamoja. Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think now we are doing advice Congole for the remarks and hongera for the ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, so I'd also just like to recognize that we also have some joiners on the online platform. So karibuni sana. Those ones who are joining us online, those ones who are tweeting, the hashtag, I think, is Tatua Digital. So if you are sharing with others. For the next session, I'd like to invite our good colleague, Dr. Lola. Karibu Rosemary. To come and tell us more about what is into that. And yes, so Mr. Kivuva. One of their
Chair, we have Swahili speakers here from Tanzania. So during tea time, you ask them. So my name is Mwendo Kivuva from Tatua Digital Center, and I have a presentation on what the center is about. But the speakers who have come before me, welcome to the as we move on, we will just take you through probably what we do and why we do this. And the example we like to give is during COVID. When COVID came, most governments around the world announced global shutdown, and they told organizations that they have to close shop, go home, and work at home. So you can imagine organizations that did not have means of working online or tools to enable them to work online. What happened? Those organizations, they are saying they were not resilient enough. They actually closed shop, and people were sacked, people left employment, people lost their income. So a resilient organization is an organization that is able to act on disruption, come their way, and take advantage of digital capabilities that are available to us, digital capabilities and tools that we have to be able to restore their business operations and also capitalize on any changing conditions to be able to continue being a good company. And an example we have in KICTANet is that we used to offer chemistry governance as a 3-day workshop in our television. But when there was lockdown, we could not be able to bring it there. And the physical meetings is 15 to 20, 25 students. When there was lockdown, the team sat down and said that now we can implement an online learning platform and have tutors teach through that system. So we have Moodle is an open platform. We set up course there, all the course content, which is actually heavier that when you are learning online than when you are even actually in a physical class. And the advantage of that system, you can set up exams, quizzes, and things like that. During that year, we had 80 students. 300 students signed up, but we were able to only take on 20, and around 86 graduated. So you can imagine, when we were doing physical, we used to do 20 trainings a year. In that one session, when we were doing online, we managed to do 86. So that's being resilient, taking the challenges that you have and turning them around to become positive. And that's what we are saying. How can the organization be resilient in times of change? When hurricane comes, when these others are here last time, remember when the time government became even 8 of the machines. What do you have? Good next year. When you talk to your 50, give your best. The 50 you can move to the slide, maybe slide 2, slide 3. So the journey of the digital resilience for us, and really attached on, was through a sort of study that we did in the year 2021. And we looked at around 100 social justice organizations in East Africa. And the organizations that are helping us, most of them, they feel a checklist on the challenges they are facing when they are coming out. Those who are here from Tanzania or Ghana, especially those are part of the organizations that represented that research and that study. After we came out of those findings, the 10 challenges that digital organizations are facing is when also it fits to actually fund this program. And as they were funding, they also funded some other 3 different programs. One is called institutional resilience, and another one is strategic resilience, and another one is holistic resilience. So our work is between sort of cross-cutting between the two. But after tea break, the people will speak about the three aspects of holistic resilience, strategic resilience, and holistic well-being. And what both are. So there are different types of discuss this process. What goes up and then we will get to the other. So that's why as a snapshot, digital resilience is run by in conjunction with AIRA. AIRA is the Africa Internet Rights Alliance, which is a conglomerate of digital rights organizations that are working together. So the people who form AIRA in West Africa are studying the secrets. Article 19, West Africa, East African Office. I have CC Hub, Sequencer, and policy. And policy is in Tanzania, we are working with Tanzania. Some of us have never been politicians, so we are struggling with this obstacle. Okay. So there is a wellness hub which is run by Inuka Kenyan Assistance, and then also we have the institutional relevance hub, which is a protection hub, which is part of the Defenders Coalition, and we are here to talk about it in the panel, and the Defenders Coalition, and the and the strategic relevance, and the financial hub, which is being run by Civic Trust Uganda, Foundation for Civil Society Tanzania, and KICTAnet. So those are the hubs that are working with the East Africa. And Tatua Resilience Center is also part of that hub ecosystem. And these hub ecosystems are supposed to be able, so they are not like rivals, they are supposed to be partners and working together. And if you go to the next slide, which has a map, we have Ford Foundation set up these hubs across the world. So we have hubs in East Africa, in Southern Africa, Asia, in Mexico, and across the world. And most they are concentrated in the majority of people in the world have what people call the global south. To provide these civic space services to the masses. So the Tatua Advisory Board is chaired by John Olivengo, who spoke earlier, and then we have the alternate chair, Dr. Melissa from Civic at Stanford University, and then we have Professor Brian sits on that board, and policy, there's a lady called Moira, at community, is also sitting on that board. And then I have KICTANet and Tanzania Human Rights Coalition are part of that board. And the board is the one which now decides the strategic direction of the board, of the center, and which organizations are being supported. You notice that in Canada we have members in African Internet Alliance, we have members within each country. So if there is an issue that is happening in Uganda, the organizations that are working in Uganda will take leadership in sorting those issues for social justice organizations. So that means that if, for example, a social justice organization has been attacked, maybe or the main point of contact within that will be CPESA, because they are the ones on the ground, and they understand the particularities within the ground. And in Tanzania, it will be Tanzania Human Rights Defenders Coalition. In Kenya, depending on the strength of the organization, there is the Article 19 there is CIPIT, and there is KICTANet. All right. So the values of the center are are actually something that we have been discussing between the different hubs that we anti-racism, anti-colonial, anti-capitalist, anti-sexist. For example, KICTANet is saying female-led organization. So is that anti-sexist? Or are we promoting equality, equity across genders? So that's what we mean by anti-sexist. And anti-racism, for example, at KICTANet we have a disability program where we have digital accessibility methods working on accessibility issues, which we did not understand actually about before they came on board. So meaning that we actually treat people equally, not only in the physical disability, also age. You know, anti-racism takes many forms. You say, I'm too young to do that, or that guy is too old to be employed in this organization. We are trying to work against those anti-stuff. And actually, the whole team took us through a very thorough training on this anti-stuff. And of course, we know issues to do with anti-racism and anti-colonial. I don't agree with funds and then they want to even control the health. And those are things that we are supposed to be able to fight. I don't give you funding for the program, and they don't want to give you admin funding to be able to run the program. They want funds to go to the program, but your admin staff to do that work. As if they don't pay rent, they don't eat, and things like that. So those are the anti-colonial constructs we want to construct. And one thing we found out for foundation is that when you are done, they're going to teach you how you are going to manage it, or what you are going to do. They leave it open because they are giving it to a peer or an adult who knows what they are doing with this fund. So these are very important concepts to understand, especially as social justice organizations, when you are dealing with colleagues, staff, other partners, and donors within organizations. And within that, we are saying when we are not anti-level, so we say we are feminist, transformative, African, love, and solidarity together because we are important things together. Okay. So overview of the center is to have transformed safe communities through the power of ICTs using digital technologies that are available to us to transform our communities within East Africa. And also to promote an enabling environment in the ICT sector so that it's robust, open, accessible, and rights-based. And that's why you see all the programs we have with the privacy issues, security issues, gender issues, making sure that all the work we are doing is rights-based. And we have values for the center. So that is transparency, accountability, integrity, inclusivity, and good governance. So inclusivity, for example, we have tried to include organizations within the East African region to be part of the center and to also drive decisions of the center. And the principles are ones. Maybe you can go to the next slide. There's the advisory board that is the members of the board are nominated by the center. So you find that each organization that forms a Tatua and the next one is and then we have the coordination or the secretariat within the center. And within the center, we have community engagement people, fellows, technical support, research and strategy, SATs, and business development. That is computer incident response teams. And then after that, now we have the beneficiaries, which are the social justice organizations within East Africa. And these are the organizations that are getting services from the center. Right. And steps for digital resilience, we are saying that, so when we were starting giving the example of computer, there is many other examples of maybe within the organization having been breached, or you want a better open source financial system, you have been running your finances probably in Word or using payment vouchers. What is the challenge? What is the problem you see? So we're starting by understanding the challenges of the different social justice organizations. And we understand that each organization will have a different challenge, and because we are unique and we are doing different stuff, we are targeting different audiences. Each organization is doing different things. So each challenge will be different. And then we are doing seek help. We come to the center, the Tatua center, to the help. And then we find ways to how to respond and to restore you to your previous condition, or even improve you further. So for example, the example we gave on COVID, we said that how we were able to respond and restore was to take our process funding. So that is what we are talking about, the resilience within that program. And then you learn and adapt. What have you learned from the problem that you are facing, and how are you able to prevent it from occurring in future? And then that's how the recurring cycle will accelerate, innovate, and it becomes a circle, a complete circle, from understanding the problem to solving it, and knowledge management, being able to document. All right. So maybe next slide. The digital resilient organizations within in the entire world have different parameters. So for you to be digitally resilient, maybe you will have software within your organization that are managing different stuff for your company. This can be financial systems, having updated software, having genuine software. They might be open, free and open source, but genuine, so that they are not infected. Legit software, having backups, where the organization backup their stuff. So for example, in the organization, how do you do backups? In the flash disk, maybe in the cloud, and you use VPNs to hide your identity. If you are, for example, journalist, or you are doing sensitive work that you can be tracked. And what type of identity practices do you have in your organization? Do you use strong passwords? Do you write, you put passwords for your Wi-Fi, then you write them down on walls and stick them everywhere. Why even have the password in the first place? It's supposed to be secret, but it's a public secret. So those are the organization practices that you should have in your organization. And then financial, you have proper policies to continue being an ongoing concern. Do you save funds? When you get a fund from donors, do you save so that when the funds dry up, you can still continue being an ongoing concern? Within your leadership, do you budget for IT? Which organizations buy Windows software for their staff? Windows operating, for example, is around $150 per piece. Which organization do that? In East Africa, $150 for each computer, just for Windows. What about for Office? Do you even have to buy it? Can you get the cracked ones? And when you get the cracked ones, with viruses and all that, what are the implications for the resilience of the organization? And what are the alternatives that you can use? You can use Ubuntu, for example. Can you use OpenOffice? Can you use Google Cloud, Google Docs, or Microsoft 365 online, which are free and just as good as those organizations like, I can just mention like ABC, Association for Professional Communication. Their IT rules is that all their software, all their stuff is free and open source. So they don't purchase software, but they don't use pirated software. They don't use Windows, they don't use Microsoft Office. They use Ubuntu on all, from finance to admin to HR, even their enterprise resource planning program, the ERP system that runs the organization, is open source. All their documents they work on, either they use OpenOffice or LibreOffice, which also open source, better clean software. So that is leadership awareness. And why we are doing this in our organizations? Because leadership is not aware of the threats of using this software. We saw what happened to 9%. If we are looking at the news, the system was hacked by some ransomware. The other data was uploaded to a cloud, and then they ask you for funds from members so that they distribute that data. They have started releasing some of that data. And that data is going to use phishing for calling you, sending you SMS to me for number. Okay. Training and capacity building are staff very sensitized on this issue that we are talking about. And then conducting data analysis, audits, and assistance. Because the same way we do financial behavior for organizations, we need to do tech, digital audits for our organization so that we can know the weak points. And believe me, all organizations have weak points. Even the top post, the US military itself, they usually have. And you see, because there is usually factors. And these actors are not simple. They want to day and night to identify threats. So we are saying a digital resilient organization does IT audits or security audits for the organization every year. And this forms part of actually the work of the Tatua digital resilience. I'm not sure it's a lot of work, but so within that there is training and capacity, and within that there is providing tools or recommendations for tools that the organization can use, and sensitization and campaigns. Like the videos that are playing now are part of that program of the Virgin campaign, just building awareness. That if you get a fund from any project, you should not send money to them, for example. Okay. So self-awareness is, do your organization have the knowledge and capacity to protect from digital threats and data breaches? Do you have skills on how to assess digital risks? Are there interventions that are taking place? Do you have to invest or implement and do you know any local organizations that provide assistance? If you are in trouble, where do you go? If you stay open malaria, if you feel you have malaria, you know where to go, maybe to the hospital. When you find your computer is blank, where do you go seek help? So that is part of the self-awareness, showing you where to be able to ask for this help. So activities of the center, some of them are the chair of KICTANet and we touch on them. And those are the policies and strategies, which is producing procedural manuals, change management, organizational growth, external engagement issues. So we will have sample templates and manuals that organizations can take up and adapt. So we will look at a well-run organization we will be able to put this documents online, and your organization can be able to take them up and adapt. And we'll also conduct digital resilience assessment and audit and threat analysis. And this one means that if you want the audit, the same way we have said, you need to have IT audit every year. If you are a social justice organization and you need an audit, you come to us and we will conduct the audit for you. And for social justice organizations in East Africa, this audit, we are doing them for free. And I can look at organizations that actually charge and find what is the cost of this service. And this is very important because it has been paid by our sponsor. For a sponsor, called Ford Foundation. And then the cyber incident emergency response, which means when you are attacked, how do you, which ambulance do you call, the response of you, how you recover from the challenge you have, monitoring and evaluation, early warning systems, post-mortem of the challenges that you face, and how to prevent you getting that challenge in future, and also doing reports that you can be able to use within your organization to have a better digitally resilient organization in future. And then after that, we will also continuously monitor other emerging issues, what Linda likes to call big picture issues. And these are issues like privacy, which we have been strong on the policy side, but also practically, how do you implement privacy policy strategies within your organization? Issues of misinformation, disinformation, malinformation. How do you verify news? Do you just share news that is sent to you? For example, there was news going around on Thursday last week. I think it was in a Photoshop of it featuring on a Monday, and it was actually a Kenya Gazette notice. It was going around on online, and people were sharing. And the minister tweeted the correct one, saying it's not on Monday, it's on Friday. But in our organization, we can see people say, but on Monday we cannot have that meeting because it's Eid. So where did they get that information? So that is misinformation. How do you handle? How do you verify things like that? How do you handle things with hate speech and agenda based violence or any other emerging issues that come? And then of course we also doing work on coordination of the center. All right. So to generate knowledge and create an understanding of the risk, challenges, and opportunities, we will do digital resilience risk assessment. So we have an assessment tool which we will show here on a QR. Maybe we'll be able to scan. The team will be able to scan so that you can go through that assessment. We will do organizational and digital risk assessment and audits and develop organizational capacity. And we will support the organization to be digital resilient in whatever work you are doing. So there is, I think, somebody can try to scan that QR to see if it's working. So it's supposed to take you to the website where there is that assessment form. And this assessment form is to assess your organization's level, where you are at from 0 to 100 on digital resilience. And you need to fill this form with your program officers. You need to fill this form with your tech people, IT people. And after you fill, that information will come to us, and we will be able to actually capture that information, analyze it, and give you feedback on the level of assessment, digital assessment within your organization. So it's sort of a maturity toolkit So within that, we will be able to do all this, provide guidance and tools on infrastructure deployment, cyber incidents response, dedicated helpline, 24/7, regional fellows, network and technologies, research and data analytics, organizational training, cyber hygiene, and incident response. And communication, where to get help from the center. So we have a mailing list that we have developed to do with only IT risk, cyber response, incident response, digital resilience, which members are started joining. So it's Tatua Disco. So they will just write an email to this digital, and it will be able to you become subscribed to that mailing list. And in that mailing list, members within East Africa will be discussing issues that they are facing on digital resilience. We also have a phone number, a support phone number. Maybe you can go to the communication. We have a support phone number where you'll be able to reach out on phone, SMS, WhatsApp, and Signal. It will be 254-110-730 for Kenya. And we have contacts for Uganda and Tanzania teams that we will share within those regions so that the social justice organizations within Uganda and Tanzania are able to reach through those channels for any support that they need. So, and that, my friends, is what Tatua Digital Resilience Center will be doing. Oh, my MC, I got the upload.
Yes, thank you very much, Kivuva, for the presentation. I know it is 10:53, and sugar levels are at the highest. So I know many guys have joined the room. So if you need to introduce yourself, maybe just stand up and just wave. Just say your name from where you are for the benefit of the rest in the room. Yeah.
Good morning. Am I like a Kenyan politician who's going to juggle both of them? Or just like one is enough? Good morning. It's such a tremendous day for us. Such a pleasure to see our vision come alive. I'm Rosemary Coach Lumoto, trustee at KICTANet, and happy to have all of you here. Thank you for presenting.
Hi everyone. I'm Rebecca Wachiro. Good morning everyone. My name is Monica Juma. Glad to be here. I'm from the Broadcasting Corporation in Africa. Good morning everyone. My name is Jacqueline Kari from KBC.
Good morning. My name is Auren Atieno from KBC.
Morning, everyone. My name is Gilbert Okeri from KBC. Especially, we have a program there in Tatua Tech on Tech. Actually, that's why we're here. There's a few faces that I've hosted in that show, so I'm happy to be here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Stephanie, also a TV host, Tech on Tech, and I'm glad to be here.
Good morning everyone. I'm Elizabeth Akinyi from KBC.
Good morning. I'm Candy from KBC.
All right, thank you very much for all that introduce themselves. We're going to take a short tea break. No? We don't? All of those who want to take a deep breath, say aye. All of those who are in favor of us continuing, say nay. And I have it. We have tea served in this room, and then we can come back after about 15 minutes for the next session. Is that okay? All right. Bon appetit. See you in 15. Thank you. Oh yes, so the online guys will come back shortly.
And I'm going to get this.
Yani an 80% offer on phones. Lazima I upgrade madhe from that kamulika mwizi of hers this Mother's Day bana. Hello madam, I need a nice gift to surprise my mom this Mother's Day. A nice phone she can use to browse online and has several features like WhatsApp, Facebook.
Yes, we have several. Which one would you like to purchase?
I prefer
the red one. Kindly ensure it has everything.
Okay, the phone is what? Well, here are your earphones plus charger, and here is your receipt. Thank you so much for visiting our shop.
Hey madam, I forgot something. Does this phone have a security feature that activates when a SIM card is changed in case it gets stolen?
Yes, of course. You just need to go to the settings and activate it.
Make sure every time you buy a new smartphone to activate security features that can help in tracing your phone in case it gets lost.
Wewe Junior, unatoka wapi sasa? Umechelewa sana ama umekuwa mzee wa boma? Si classes ulimaliza last week. Ebu rudi mahali umetoka.
Mom, pole, tulia. Nilikuwa nimeenda kwa shop kukubaia present.
Anti present. Mimi ndio unashazia unafikiria sijui huyo Siba kutoka Meru na umebeba. Wewe Junior, unaniona kienyeji sana?
Hapana mom, ndio hii gift hapa nimekuletea na kucelebrate kama the best mother in this world ever.
Oi, Junior wangu. Umeninunulia simu yake. You are the best son in this world, Aki. Oh, yani umeniletea Facebook na WhatsApp, TikTok na kila kitu. Hata mimi sasa nitashati na mabeste wangu washash na pia washama. Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, WhatsApp, Instagram, YouTube. Ate pinaba. Sasa pinaba itasaidia nini? Waste of time. Ashani kunichelewesha.
You should practice securing your phone and SIM card with passwords to prevent unauthorized access to your digital devices, applications, and information.
Ate unataka kuniongeza pesa mara 2 kwa mobile money yangu? Aki Facebook ni nzuri sana. Sasa nitakuwa sonko. Pinaba yangu ni rahisi. Weka tu pin 0000 na ID ni 1 2 3 4 5. Nimeibiwa 10,000 zangu. Igaiwo, nisaidieni.
Never share your private information like PIN numbers, identity card number, and passwords with anyone, as you can easily get targeted by cyber criminals who can use your details to steal from you.
Kumbe siku hizi hata matatu iko na wifi. Hebu ni connect kabla nishuke hata nitumie mobile banking na nisave tu bado wangu jioni nitumie. Ate unsecure wifi. Oi, guy, wamenifanyia nini? Simu yangu imehang, nimehakiwa, saidia, serikali saidia.
Using free public Wi-Fi can put your personal information at risk. Avoid checking sensitive data on unsecured public Wi-Fi or use a virtual private network or VPN to stay safe.
Bei ya usiku. Jipatie simu fresh kabisa kwa bei sawa kabisa.
Na hizi simu zako ni nzuri bwana.
Kuna shilingi ngapi hapo mzae?
Mimi na shilingi 500 tu.
Shika hii.
Lakini hii kala si inakaa ni kama ni akina mama bwana.
We mzae leta pesa ama utoke hapa. Sitaki maswali za kijinga. Hapa ni masaa.
Father Lord. Hey mom, angalia nimepata simu yako.
Aje, wapi?
Nilikuwa nimelink simu yako na line yangu in case ipotee na mtu abadilishe sim card. Sim card ingine ikiwekwa inanipatia notification. Ndio hii namba ya mtu wako nayo. Anaitwa Matayo na yuko LD.
Hebu leta nimpigie. Atajua ajui. Halo bwana Matayo kutoka Eldoret.
Nikusaidiaje mama?
Mimi naitwa Mama Junior kutoka Kitui. Hiyo simu unatumia ni yangu. Siko na maua hapo kando na ni nyekundu hivi.
Oi, na umejuaje?
Pasha maswali mingi wewe. Nimekupatia 24 hours. Urudishe hiyo simu ama utaona shamte makuni.
Bana tafadhali mama nisamee.
Ama unataka
inakuja from the mix.
Cyber hygiene Kenya nakuja kwa akili yangu ni mambo ya kusecure my online accounts, kitu kama hiyo.
According to HelpNet Security, cyber risks top worldwide business concerns in 2022. Our devices become exposed when in use privately, when we are connected to cyber cafe or other devices.
When we were all small, our mothers told us, when you go to the bathroom or before you eat food, wash your hands. COVID came, we all learned we have to wear our masks, we need to sanitize or wash our hands and social distance, 6 feet apart. That's what cyber hygiene is. These are the best practices that you do as part of your regular routine every time you go online so that they keep you safe online.
When we practice cyber hygiene, we protect confidentiality of our devices, which means no unauthorized access. Online harassment is a major vice that takes place on cyberspace.
Then niende juu kabisa. Shit. Yeah, they Hey, wingi. Mic check. 1 2 1 2 mic check. KICTANet, come on. Ni maadmit wengi sasa hivi. Business on. 1, 2. This is my name. Mic check. Nibadilishe. Nataka kuibadilisha from this point to that. No, the problem is